Hey everyone, Dave K here, and today we're going to talk about the top 10 things to do in Hollywood Studios. In case you didn't know, Hollywood Studios, one of my favorite parks at Disney World, so looking forward to going through this list with you. Let's do it. How's it going, everyone? Getting us started here today with that list of attractions and rides and dining and more in Hollywood Studios. So much to share with you. My number one at Hollywood Studios, before all of them, my number one favorite attraction at Hollywood Studios is Toy Story Mania. I'm a huge fan of Toy Story Mania. This ride has been around a good amount of time, and it's such a classic. You know, again, I'm a gamer, so to be able to play that game, kind of interact with the characters from Toy Story and score points to achieve higher levels of prizes and work with team members, work with whoever you're playing with in that one, try to achieve a high score. It's just such a fun game. I really, really enjoy it. So Toy Story Mania for me is number one of attractions at Hollywood Studios. Let me know if you agree with me or if you prefer something else. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Number two for me in Hollywood Studios is Slinky Dog Dash. I feel like Slinky Dog Dash is a really, really great ride. You know, they went in and they built this Toy Story Land. And honestly, overall, I really, really like Toy Story Land. So Slinky Dog Dash is a roller coaster. However, I wouldn't say it's as intense of a roller coaster as some of the other ones at Disney World, like a Space Mountain or anything like that. It is still a roller coaster, so something to keep in mind. And you can actually see Slinky Dog Dash, especially during the daytime. If you're walking into Toy Story Land, you can see Slinky Dog Dash kind of racing around above you. And I love that effect too. So one of the things I love about Slinky Dog Dash, in addition to the coaster itself and how smooth it is the views that you get on Slinky Dog Dash. You can see all kinds of cool stuff. You can see into Batuu a little bit. You can see all around Hollywood Studios, got some great views up there. And the characters that they've built around you in the ride at Slinky Dog Dash is really, really cool too. You'll see all kinds of favorites from Toy Story. So definitely another reason why Slinky Dog Dash is one of my favorites in Hollywood Studios. By the way, going back a bit, Toy Story Mania is not a high-intensity ride. It's a nice, calm ride. Most people should be able to go. It's a dark ride. You do have to wear 3D glasses, and the vehicle does move around, but it's pretty calm. So most people should feel comfortable on that one. Now, number three here for us is Smuggler's Run. Smuggler's Run is a brand new to Disney World in the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Batuu in Hollywood Studios, and they have another Star Wars Land, Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland, but focusing on Disney World here, this is a great ride in Hollywood Studios. I really enjoy going on the Millennium Falcon and being able to pilot the ship. For me, piloting is my favorite role, so if you haven't done it before, you don't really get to choose which spot you're in, but if you haven't done it before, I'll cross my fingers you can get pilot and let me know what you think. Or maybe your favorite role is something different. Let me know what you think. All the roles are great, but I enjoy being the pilot. I feel like you have a lot of control in the pilot seat over what happens on your adventure on the Millennium Falcon. Being able to sort of steer the ship, I feel like it allows you to do a lot. Now, you do have engineers and gunners, and they press buttons to complete roles. So whether it's connecting to different vessels as you're flying through the galaxy or shooting at other enemy ships, again, trying not to give away too much here, but they do have roles, but I feel like the pilot role is one of the most immersive. Now, it does fit 6 people. It is a fairly calm ride, not very intense at all. It's kind of like a virtual reality. It's like a screen, where you are seeing a screen, you do feel some movement, and you control different things throughout the ship, and that will impact your team's performance. So it's kind of like a game as well, where the score that you earn is controlled by you and your team's performance. And that's another variable that I kind of like a lot in Galaxy's Edge in Smuggler's Run. So something to keep in mind. That does add to the experience for me, at least. For me, number 4 to see in Hollywood Studios is the Star Wars fireworks show. At night, they have a couple of nighttime spectaculars. Obviously, there's Fantasmic, and Fantasmic is a great one. But the fireworks show for Star Wars and that animation fireworks show that happened, not on the castle, if you will, but the Chinese theater, since it's Hollywood Studios, are amazing. I love those projections. They shine out these lasers. You've got fireworks. I think you have fireworks, but you've got these lasers. You have this animation on the castle itself, not the castle again, but the Chinese theater. I'm going to keep calling it a castle. But it's just such an amazing show. Both of those shows back to back. If you haven't seen them before, don't get me wrong. Fantasmic is a classic, and I like it a lot. But those two shows on the Chinese theater are just some of my favorites. So if you haven't taken the time to check those out, really, really great shows. A lot like the projections you might see on the Magic Kingdom Castle, if you're seeing Happily Ever After, except it's on that Chinese theater. And again, I love what they've done with it. I feel like you can get closer to the Chinese theater. It's less crowded. It's such a great show. So if you haven't seen that one, Star Wars late night show, I want to say fireworks show at the Chinese theater, is a great one in Hollywood Studios. Since we're talking about Star Wars shows, number 5 for me is the midday Star Wars show, A Galaxy Far, Far Away. When you walk into Hollywood Studios, you'll see in front of that Chinese theater again, A Galaxy Far, Far Away, kind of like a bunch of screens, and they have a show that takes place there. It's really cool. You got all kinds of Star Wars characters that come out, screens and music. It's fairly interactive because the characters are, it's not interactive, but the characters are doing things. You can see that effect shoot out like a firework or that sort of thing based on what that character is doing on stage. So really, really cool show. You should be able to see those times again just as you're walking in. I believe it's 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30. They might have a break at 2:30 and then goes 3:30, 4:30, 5:30 or something along those lines. And it's not a super long show. I want to say maybe half an hour or something along those lines. But it really is a cool one. I like the interactivity on that one, or the engagement, if you will, on that one. It's really exciting. There are polls that happen before those shows where you can vote on like your favorite Star Wars movies and stuff like that. So overall, I really do like A Galaxy Far, Far Away in the front of Hollywood Studios as you're entering the park. Now, Hollywood Studios has a variety of great shows that I like a lot. So touching on number 6 here is the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. Really, really awesome show. You get to see kind of how some of the, what would you call it, some of the fighting scenes, some of the combat scenes, some of the more action scenes happen in a movie like Indiana Jones. You see some explosions and some fire, some great fighting scenes as well, some real action. So it's really a nice one. And some audience members actually get called down to be a part of the show. So that's really cool as well. You get to kind of act a little bit and audition, in a sense, if you will, for the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. Really, really cool stuff. Overall, that's a great one. If you haven't seen it before, definitely recommend seeing that. It is a show, so you'll sit in a theater and you'll look down at all the action happening on stage. It's a large theater as well, which tells you it's a popular one as well. Number 7 is a classic that my family and I love whenever we're in Hollywood Studios, Star Tours. It's been around for quite a while, but they've continued to update Star Tours and add new scenes, new effects to it. Currently, at the time of filming, if you go on Star Tours, you could get a variety of different adventures. So there are a couple different scenes that will change in your Star Tours adventure if you go on Star Tours at different times of the day or just in different vehicles. It seems like all the different adventures run throughout the day. So I don't think it's a time of day thing in so much as just a general luck thing. They have all the types of adventures running. But really, really nice ride. It's not too intense, and you sit in this vehicle. You do feel the effects of like going to hyper speed or light speed and just being able to kind of see the Star Wars adventure. Some really cool 3D effects on that one as well. They'll give you some 3D glasses, and it makes for a great show. It's not really a theater. Again, it feels like you're a part of the Star Tours. And I feel like the thing only fits maybe about 50 people, so it's definitely more intimate than going to a theater and seeing a big show with, let's say, 200 people or anything along those lines. It's definitely a closer feel than like a Fantasmic or PhilharMagic or anything like that, but it is still sort of that show where you put on the glasses and you're watching what's happening and you kind of feel what's going on in the Star Wars universe. Really like that one. I do enjoy it quite a bit. Number 8, I feel like I have to touch on all of them in Toy Story Land, is the Alien Swirling Saucers. It's a cool ride. I like it a lot. It's not too intense. It reminds me a lot of the Scrambler. If you've ever been to some of those other theme parks, they have the Scramblers where it kind of spins you around. You'll go in different directions. I guess it would also be similar to the teacups, right? Like the Mad Teacups in the Magic Kingdom, where you sit in this vessel and it kind of just like slings you back and forth as you're riding around. Not too quickly. You kind of go nice and slow to that side once over, and then it whoops you back around to the other side. I don't think it's too intense, but it is more intense than a slower pace, some of those other rides we've discussed. So it does have some level of thrill, if you will, to it, but definitely not too intense. It's no roller coaster by any means, but it is a nice one. I love the theming. I love the aliens altogether, and the music that they play is really fun too. It's a nice setup that they have, and the queue is really attractive as well. So walking through the line to go on Alien Swirling Saucers is really nice as well. So just something to keep in mind. I really enjoy Alien Swirling Saucers. If you haven't been on it, generally it has a shorter wait time than the other two rides in Toy Story Land. So you might want to go on this one, check it out, let us know what you think, that kind of thing. Number 9 for me, if you've never seen this one before, I would recommend it. Again, some people may not like it as much, but I do enjoy it. It's Muppet Vision 3D. As you're walking into Hollywood Studios, actually heading towards Star Wars Land, or the Galaxy's Edge, on your left, you'll have that sort of miniature Muppet land. And it has me a little bit concerned because it's kind of small and off on its own, and the line's never too long for Muppet Vision 3D. So again, hoping that one sticks around. But it's a great show. Again, you put on these 3D glasses, and you go into the world of the Muppets. You get to see some of your favorites, like Kermit, and a whole bunch of other characters are in there, and some new ones. Some I'm not really familiar with. But they tell a really cool story of, again, kind of how the Muppets are feeling backstage, if you will. You see some amazing 3D effects, and some characters come out into the theater. It is a large theater, but some characters come out into the theater while you're watching the show. So really well done. I really enjoy Muppet Vision 3D. I'm hoping if they're thinking about changing it, they just kind of update it and it's still around, because again, I love the idea, I love the Muppets, I love the shows where you sit down and watch these type of things. So overall, I like it, and we'll see what the future of Hollywood Studios holds. And number 10 for me on my list today, I'm going to say Rock and Roller Coaster. I do enjoy this one quite a bit. Now, Rock and Roller Coaster is an intense coaster, don't get me wrong. I want to say you flip upside down, the launch is very fast, but the theming is awesome. They've got Aerosmith music playing in Rock and Roller Coaster. Again, makes you feel like you're a part of a rock concert. There's a nice story that leads up into the ride, and the coaster itself is intense and it's epic, but it's also really awesome. It's cool where you get to see sort of like a dark, it's like you're going really fast on a road in a sense, and you're seeing sort of these nighttime, you're seeing signs lit up at night and those sorts of things. Again, kind of makes you feel like you're racing towards a rock concert, but it has a rock concert feel as well. So really, really cool ride. Beautifully done. I think Rock and Roller Coaster is a great one. Haven't been on it in a while, so I'll have to go back and make sure I still like it. It is more intense, so if you're worried about the intensity of a ride, that may be one to skip. That, if you were trying to skip one roller coaster, that one's a more intense one. That one and Tower of Terror are both pretty intense, I think, but just something to keep in mind. If you don't love coasters, consider skipping it, but if you do, that's a great one. For me, Hollywood Studios has a lot of honorable mentions as well. Fantasmic is a great show, and I want to make sure that I address it really is a great show. Fantasmic is fantastic. You can see that one in Hollywood Studios as well, kind of as opposed to that Star Wars and animation show. So as opposed to touching on Fantasmic here, I touched on that other one. But Fantasmic has some amazing effects. You've got boats going by on the water. You've got this huge dragon. So if you haven't seen Fantasmic, I would recommend that one as well. If I had to choose and you've never seen either one, it'd probably be Fantasmic just because it's more of a staple or a classic. But I really like them both. And if you have the opportunity to see them both, I would. I think those shows at nighttime in Hollywood Studios are worthwhile. Another one for me that is definitely an honorable mention that I enjoy quite a bit and have enjoyed for a long time at Hollywood Studios is the Beauty and the Beast stage show as you're heading towards the Tower of Terror. That one will be on your right. It's a great show. It's a lot like seeing a theater or stage show. It's a shortened version of Beauty and the Beast, if you will, kind of like the highlights of Beauty and the Beast, but the characters, the actors are amazing, or at least the actors and actresses that I've seen in the show have been amazing. The music's fantastic, and you really feel like you're in the theater, but immersed in the theater. I feel like it's a smaller theater than a lot of the other shows, which gives you, again, that sort of closer, more intimate feeling than a lot of other stage shows, and overall, it's just a great show. So if you have any interest in sort of theater performances and hearing that music kind of live in real time, I would recommend seeing that Beauty and the Beast stage show as well. What do you think of my list of these top 10 things to do in Hollywood Studios? Do you agree with me? Are there other things that you would prefer to do in Hollywood Studios, or things you'd like to see me add in the future? Anything else you'd like to hear about Hollywood Studios? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for being a part of the fun with me today. For more fun, family-friendly adventures, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay informed. And until next time, play on.